All right, Presidents, Baker. Here. Will Rice. Hansen. Here. Thank you. Weiss. Here. Jones. Here. Brown. Here. Lovett. Soon to be removed. Sid. Sid, President.
Soon to be removed.
Martel, President.
Oh, President.
McMurtry.
Here.
Duncan.
Soon to be removed.
Senators, Baker.
Here.
Will Rice.
Here.
Hansen.
Also soon to be removed.
Weiss. Jones.
Not here for long.
Brown. Lovett.
Soon to be removed.
Sid.
Here.
Martel.
Also soon to be removed.
Is she not even Oh, she does. All right. Let me fix this. All right, McMurtry.
Here.
Duncan.
Here.
Execs, treasurer.
Hey.
Secretaries here. EVP. No. EVP.
Yes.
Present.
Here.
All right.
Okay, actually, you do it first.
Yeah, Robbie does it.
Point of order. It has come to my attention that the presidents from Weiss, the president from Lovett, the president from Sid Rich, the president from McMurtry, and the president from Duncan, and the senator from Lovett, the senator from Hansen, and the senator from Martel have violated the attendance requirement in bylaw article B1 and have been automatically removed from the undergraduate senate. According to the records available to me, that I recommend sustaining the point of order. The Weiss president, the Brown president, the Levitt president, the McMurtry president, and the Duncan president will be replaced by the senators from those colleges. In the context of this body.
No, wait, did you say Brown?
I don't think I said Brown.
It's Weiss, Lovett, Sid, McMurtry, and Duncan.
Okay. So those senators immediately become presidents. In the context of this body, the senator positions are vacant and need to be replaced by the Senate. By the time you replace it, we change over anyway. The Hansen senator is technically removed, but can be reinstated because it has not yet been 2 weeks. That can be done with a motion to reinstate. The Levitt senator is removed from office and creates a vacancy. And the Martel senator is removed from office, creating a vacancy.
Motion to reinstate Hansen senator.
Motion.
Second. What?
All right, we're going to do a roll call vote to reinstate Hansen.
Motion, thank you.
All right, so okay, we're going to do a motion. We're going to do a roll call vote to reinstate Hansen Center. So Baker president.
Yay.
Will Rice.
Yay.
Hansen.
Yay.
Jones. Brown.
Yay.
Lovett.
No.
Oh wait, no Lovett.
Wait. The Levitt senator is Wait, is there a Weiss senator? Do we have a Weiss senator?
Yeah.
You can ask for a vote for the Weiss president.
Okay, yeah, sorry. So Weiss, new Weiss president.
Yay.
Wait, no, we have a Sid president.
Okay, new Sid president.
Yeah.
Alright. Yeah. Martel president.
Yay!
New McMurtry president.
Yay!
New Duncan president.
Yay! Yeah.
Baker senator.
Oh, yeah.
Woolright. Jones.
Yay.
Brown is right. Brown.
Yay.
Some people.
No McMurphy and no nothing.
Okay, treasurer.
Yay.
Yay. EVP. IVP.
How many votes do we have?
We have 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. We have 18 votes.
18 votes.
It's 27.
Yeah. We have a
Right.
quorum. The Hanson
That
senators
passes,
reinstated.
Hanson senators reinstated. And we sustain the motion, or sustain the point of order that those presidents and senators have. All right, now that that is done with. All right, so I'm now going to read you the decision letter as requested by the U Court Chair regarding the general elections. So excuse me, it's about a page long. February 23rd, 2014. Complainants, members of the Rice University Student Association Executive Committee and the Rice University Student Association Election Committee, and general members of the Rice University Student Association. After deliberating on the evidence collected and the testimony presented at the public hearing regarding the validity of the 2014 Student Association general elections, the University Court finds the 2014 Student Association general elections partially invalid. Holding. For a detailed explanation of the court's reasoning, please see the attached abstract. The court issues the following instructions to remedy the portions of the elections deemed invalid. Number 1. The court instructs the SA Election Committee to rerun all races and ballot measures by merging them with the scheduled election for SA IVP to take place starting 11:59 p.m. on Monday, February 24th, 2014, and ending at 11:59 p.m. on Friday, February 28th, 2014. The court additionally instructs that the election committee verify that only members of the student association, as designated by the registrar, are able to vote in this election. The court further instructs that the election committee devise a method to ensure that eligible voters only vote one time. For all future elections, the court instructs that the election committee must run a test election a reasonable amount of time prior to the actual elections to verify the security of the elections and the accuracy of its results. Number 2. The court also instructs that Dennis Leahy be placed on the ballot for the rerun election as an eligible candidate for SA president. The court instructs that the election committee must notify candidates of their eligibility at least 3 business days prior to the start of the election. Further, for any candidate denied eligibility, the court instructs that directions for appealing the finding of ineligibility be included in this notification. Number 3. The court additionally instructs that no member of the SA be barred entry from any meeting of the election committee. The court further instructs that the time and location of election committee meetings must be posted on the SA website 24 hours in advance. In the event that the time and/or location of an election committee meeting change, the public must be notified through official SA channels prior to the start of the meeting. 4. The court finally instructs that the approval by a student senate vote of all election committee members must be publicly recorded in the SA meeting minutes. This concludes the University Court's formal review of the challenge to the validity of the 2014 Student Association general elections. Any party to this matter intending to appeal the court's decision must notify the court and the student senate their intent to do so within 5 business days. Didn't have a word. Of the student senate meeting at which the decision is presented. Sincerely, Evan Austin, University Court Chair. So TLDR, we're running the elections again. 11:59 p.m. today. Cool.
Right on.
All right, Secretary.
Okay, for reasons unfathomable, our acting parliamentarian actually quit the elections committee. So we have to approve another one. So after much deliberation and the already approval of our president, I nominate for the Senate to vote Zach Bierenbaum as our acting parliamentarian. He's sitting there in the back. He has extensive knowledge of our Constitution. He also has experience being a director, so I think he'll do a great job as acting parliamentarian.
He was on our constitutional revision committee, so he got to read that thing like 100 times.
Yeah, so he knows what he's doing.
Do we have any objections?
Can you repeat who's replacing?
Oh, he's replacing
stand
Dave,
up?
right?
No, I know. Who
Oh, it's Birnbaum.
Oh, Zach.
Yeah, so can we get a vote of still eligible voting members?
motion? Second.
Roll call, Brian?
We can do a voice vote, just like the result needs to go in minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, so yes.
So like, ask for the yeas.
Oh, okay. All those in favor, please raise your hand and only vote if you are still a voting member. All right. All those opposed? Are you gonna vote now?
Yeah.
All right, all those opposed? Okay, that passes.
Can
We do
we?
the rest of the committee again, don't we?
Yeah, can we redo? I would like the Senate to also approve and or reapprove the rest of the elections committee, since that is apparently being questioned, and I just want to make sure that they are valid members of the elections committee. So can the Senate please approve Vera Song as our director of elections for the elections committee, and Jillian Liu as our director of technology for the elections committee?
Do you have a motion to approve?
Motion. Second.
All right, can we do show of hands votes again for only those still eligible to vote? Those in favor? And then those opposed? All right, and that passes as awesome. Good work, guys. So our first guest today is Vice Provost Caroline Levander, who's here to talk about the Moody Arts Center.
So I'll keep this relatively brief and leave time for questions. A little bit of history on the Moody Center for the Arts. It's a $20 million facility that is going to be, and you're getting some visuals on it, it's going to be constructed across from the new Continuing Studies building. So when you enter campus entrance 8, right now, you go in entrance 8, you remember where the tennis courts used to be. That's the space that's going to be the footprint for the building. This has been a process that has been protracted the last 2 years. We have been in conversation with a number of stakeholders associated with Rice and with Houston arts institutions. In April 2012, before we had funding for this center from the Moody Foundation, I was asked to lead a conversation with stakeholders about what the Rice campus might want or need that it doesn't currently have in terms of arts making and viewing space. And so I invited 4 consultants from University of Chicago and Duke, Princeton, and Harvard to come and speak with various folks. There was a group of student stakeholders at that conversation representing a number of departments and programs that had a real interest in the building. We didn't have funds at that point, but took that information back. The consultants' reports actually were very helpful in terms of thinking about what we might do that would be meaningful, if modest, in arts making and viewing in Houston. And so what you see in front of you, and I'm happy to have more copies, is the very, very recently approved look of the new facility. This was just approved by the board and various administrative entities about 3 weeks ago. So we finally have a look for the building. You'll see it's a 2-story building. It's about 30,000 assignable square feet. It's all new space, so no arts making or viewing space is being compromised. This is all going to be new space. There were 3 key things that our consultant said the university did not have that we sorely needed. So one was secure gallery space to view objects that were highly valuable, that might need climate control, or that were needing a basically secure environment. So there's a 3,000 square foot secure gallery space in this building. And what that's going to allow is objects from the Museum of Fine Arts or from the Manila collection or other highly valuable collections to be viewed and curated as part of an exhibition feature on our campus. So if you're in art history and you want to collaborate with curators at the Museum of Fine Arts, there's now a space where you could actually think about exhibiting the work of very valuable and rare objects. Related to that gallery space is also a flexible gallery. This is a space where students and faculty can exhibit work. If you are currently an artist maker on this campus, you know that that kind of viewing space is a really high premium. So this is going to be an additional space that will be somewhat less secure than the secure gallery, but still under passkey protection, where you'll be able to exhibit various kinds of art that you make, that faculty make. A second key feature that this building is going to add to your experience and the experience of other students who come after you is a studio theater. So as you all know right now, Hammond Hall is kind of the one-stop destination other than the residential colleges for theatrical productions, performance art, drama on our campus. So those are important facilities on our campus. But we don't have a smaller, more intimate space for performances. So there's a studio theater in this facility. It will seat about 150 viewers, and that will be flexible seating. So unlike Hammond Hall, the seats can move around. They can be reoriented for different kinds of productions. It's a modest space, but nonetheless an important space for us. It gives new capability for what I hope are going to be a lot of really exciting student-led performances. So that's the second feature. The third feature that this building will offer is something called the Arts Design Kitchen. So as many of you know, there's the Engineering Design Kitchen that is a pretty important component to our engineering curriculum. The Arts Design Kitchen is going to be comprised of a number of making spaces that will encourage collaborative arts making. Those spaces will include a wood shop, a metal shop, sewing shop, a fabrication space, so kind of classic making spaces, as well as digital and computationally rich hack spaces. So for those of you who are interested in digital arts, digital photography, there's going to be a lot of capability for that kind of experimentation and classwork. There's a lot of classrooms in this space. So what you can hear from those three spaces are different kinds of opportunities for students and faculty. This building is understood not only to enrich the student experience on campus, but also to become a kind of arts viewing destination for what I hope you all by now know is a really exciting city in terms of the arts. The Museum of Fine Arts, as I'm sure you know, is getting ready to add to their campus with a massive new building. So 10 years from now, when you guys come back to campus as alums, I think what you're going to see is a Manil facility that has a new extension. You're going to see a Museum of Fine Arts that has got a new Glasell School for arts making and a really kind of impressive Stephen Hall facility for arts viewing. And then you will see the Moody Center for the Arts. And the goal is that people who come to Houston interested in the arts will come to Rice campus, just as they come to Shepherd School to hear music, they'll come to Moody to see what you are doing, what the great objects that otherwise don't get viewing time because there's so many great objects and very modest viewing space in MFAH and other facilities, will suddenly make available. I think there's one other piece to this that's important, and that is that there's something called Match. I don't know if any of you know what Match is, the Mid-Center Arts and Theater Collaborative. It's going in right on Main Street at Holman, so you can take Metro Rail down, and this is going to be where Diverse Works performs. It's going to be a kind of rentable making space. So what you'll see, 10 years from now, is a really dynamic 2-mile radius around Rice. And I think the goal here is to create so much demand from you guys, from faculty, that there's a huge impetus to expand this facility. It's a modest size. It sounds big, and I think it is big in idea, but it's relatively modest in terms of our peer institutions. This is a pretty typical phenomenon across university campuses amongst our peers, kind of large-scale centers for the arts. And so we're making an important claim for ourselves as a university that's committed to arts making with this facility, but I think it's the beginning of a longer conversation. The building is being architected with the idea that it will have a second and hopefully even a third phase as funds become available. So it's very much understood to be expandable over time. I think that is something that the university is really going to prioritize, and we'll welcome your feedback. Now, in terms of your feedback, Ravi asked me to speak to not only how students were crucial to the original ideation of the building 2 years ago, but the role you continue to play. I think you heard from Matt Taylor, no, not yet, but you will. There is a Student Arts Advisory Council that has been convened to help this process forward and to help shape the academic program. There is a correlate, Faculty Arts Advisory Council, that was convened about 1.5 years ago that's been really an important interlocutor in this project, and the Student Arts Advisory Council will serve the same kind of role. So the role of those students is not only to get information, but also to communicate it out to all of your colleges, all of the core constituencies. And that really is a dialogue. It's very important that that happens in a dynamic and robust way. So that's something that Matt and his office is going to be very attentive to. There are a number of arts initiatives that have been funded with the goal of creating a lot of opportunities for students and faculty. And I shared with Ravi a list of those funded projects last year and this year, and he can circulate those to you. But that gives you a sample of the kind of opportunities you're going to have in the classroom, in studio space, and hopefully in your lives. I think the goal is that students who apply to Rice and are really serious about arts making will suddenly see something that is really unique and special, and that this will help us matriculate students with real interest in making and retain student interest in that. So I'll leave it at that. I'm happy to answer questions or pass the baton however you would like. Yes?
What is the timeline for the construction of the center?
Yes, so it is now scheduled to open January 16, right? So it will be, I think this is a kind of pay it forward thing, right? So all of your input is really going to benefit those who come after you probably, unless you're freshmen this year or sophomores. But I think that is part of the contribution you make to the community. And so that's why your input is really important. Other questions? Yes?
This is just, I was just curious, what does this mean for the existing space in Sewell for the art classrooms? And the
All there.
It's going to stay?
All there.
Okay.
Yeah, this is all value add,
Okay.
which is great. That's really great. Yes?
How is this related to the existing Department of Visual and Dramatic Arts? Will they be kind of stewards of this space?
So it is, they are primary minority stakeholders in this space. So this is a university-wide arts initiative. So it's a center for the arts. It's not owned by a department, right? It's not even owned by a school. So the goal here is to encourage making across units. And so in that way, it's a lot like the BRC, right? So President Lieberman has said, in some ways he sees this as being for the arts what the BRC has been for bioscience, to kind of incubate new ventures, right? New student ventures. It's going to be wide open to a lot of different stakeholders, and it's going to be student-driven, largely. So there's going to be office space for artists in residence, for faculty fellows, for faculty on our campus. But because it's added space, it's not envisioned to fix a need that we have at a local level, a divisional level, or a department level.
If I could follow up.
Sure.
Who then will be responsible for things as complicated as a theater, as dangerous as a scene or metalworking shop?
Right. So, great question. We are hiring an arts director. That was a fundraising priority that we have happily succeeded in funding. So there's going to be an arts director whose sole job will be the kind of managing of this facility and really the telegraphing of what happens at Rice in the arts to a larger community. Not just Houston, but national and international, right? So this is really a kind of large-scale institution building effort to make Rice a place as valuable in the arts as it is in, you know, other parts of campus. And so there will be a person whose full-time job is exactly that. There will be staff associated with, as you say, the really important work of the shops, right, to make sure all of that happens in a way that encourages students rather than discourage or impede students.
But this person and the staff aren't officially associated with the department we already have.
So this arts director, it will be an international search. It will be field open. So it will be someone who will have a faculty home, might be in visual and dramatic arts, but need not necessarily be. The search is being led by the Dean of Architecture, Sarah Whiting, with a university-wide search committee. So faculty from visual and dramatic arts, John Sparagana is on that search committee, art history is represented, other key stakeholders. So it's really understood as a university-wide endeavor. Yes?
I would like to ask why there aren't more faculty from visual and dramatic arts on that search committee, given that we probably have the most knowledge and maybe other search considering architecture also has a strong hold in this building, but I think we are the ones who envision using the space the most out of anybody on this campus, and I feel that there could really be more faculty members on that search committee from VADA. We could be more represented in that sense.
So VADA is represented on that search committee, right? They have a key voice. The chair of the department is a member of that search, and this is not a VADA building. It is a building that will encourage a lot of the work that currently happens in VADA, but as you'll see from the Arts Initiative funds that we've dispersed, a lot of the work that VADA does is in collaboration with other departments, right? So Shepherd School, rich alliances that are going on between visual and dramatic arts and art history or Shepherd School. So I mean, it's really not a siloed approach. And I think that is a concept, that's a paradigm shift, right? Our peer institutions are very much about that kind of enabling of a wide range of arts making. This is a center for the arts, plural, not a center for art. And I think that's a really key distinction. So I understand that there's a huge demand for space in this building. It's a premium. But I think the thing to remember is that there's a lot of different kinds of making that happen on this campus that are facilitated by cross-conversation and pollination. And that's really what this is about.
Still though, I think that we have a better idea of what that interdisciplinary work means, because as you said, we frequently collaborate with other disciplines, so why not ask us how we do that and ask more people from our department, because we have probably the best idea of how to do it. I know this as along with Lydia Smith, we're the directors of the Matchbox Gallery, and we work with people from disciplines all the time to do what we do. This Thursday night we have a student engineer coming in this space. He's not an art major, so we know exactly what that means. But I think that asking more faculty from the department would be a really good way of kind of implementing what you're talking about into reality, because without that kind of ongoing conversation, it becomes it loses that collaborative sense, I think.
So all I can say is the chair of the department is on the search committee, and you know, it's really important to have that leadership represented. It's also really important to have our history represented and architecture, right? Search committees are small. This is a targeted effort to find a world-class leader, to shepherd a really important venture. And I think the chair of VADA will do a really great job representing the department's interests. So I don't think it's about more representation, I think it's about the right representation. I feel really good about the fact that John is on this committee, and I think he will take care of the department's interests, I really do. Yeah.
So are there going to be like classes taught in this building?
Yes, there are.
Who's teaching those classes?
Well, it's going to be a lot of different folks, right? So it's going to be photographers, Jeff Winningham, for example, right? Allison Hunter, right? Folks interested in digital photography, digital media. It's going to be a series of people who are interested in making, right? And all of that is going to be determined by the interests of the people on the ground here, which is why your voices are so important. And in conversation with, I think, a really smart leader for this facility. So we're about 2 years out. A number of the Arts Initiative funds that have been funded have been related to coursework, right? So whether it's a digital photography class that makes use of our visualization center, whether it's a course that blends an earth scientist with a photographer, those are the kinds of ventures that I think this space will enable.
In the interest of time, if you have any more questions about it, can you please? Okay, just getting 2 more questions.
2 more questions. I don't know. Do you want to call? I don't know who to call.
Okay. I don't know if you were the appropriate person to ask, but I'm just going to ask it anyway. I think the VADA department, and I realize it's not a building for VADA, it's not an art building. We do understand that. We really, really do. But I guess we're really confused as to why this building is being sort of publicized so much towards us and then being sort of taken away at the same time. And we don't really understand. It's like, we really want your input. We really want to know what we should put in there. But at the same time, you're not going to have stewardship of this building. You might have to fight with like everyone else on campus to use it. And so I think we're getting a very mixed message about really like, is this building going to enhance the VADA department, or is it really just a separate entity altogether?
I would say that's a false opposition.
Okay.
Right? So I would say 5 years from now, when you guys come back, in addition to seeing a lot more arts activity on this campus, right? I think you're going to see a lot more dynamism between the various departments. So I see VADA as a really key collaborator in this, right?
Absolutely.
And I would imagine that department is going to grow and expand and all of that in ways I'm not responsible for that department, so it's inappropriate for me to comment on that department's strategic plan or its ambitions, its 5-year growth plan. That actually isn't my purview.
Right, of course.
So I would certainly hope that this is a facility that department develops a great set of strategies around.
Okay, so it's something for us to develop strategies around. It's not sort of a piece in our strategic plan.
I think that's for the department to decide.
But shouldn't you be working? Shouldn't that plan be conceived together?
And I think that's why the leader of the department is at the table. That's why. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, I think John is a great advocate for the department. So I wouldn't entertain a position that said he wasn't an effective advocate for the department. I think he really is great.
I think he's great.
One more question. Yeah, let's do one more question. Hand raised.
Hi. Earlier you mentioned that VADA is a minority stakeholder. Can you explain that?
I said a majority stakeholder is the official language, right? So what that means is, so unlike the physics building, right, where physics is the building, that department occupies that building. This isn't quite the same thing, right?
Which building is that?
I'm sorry?
The physics building? That's Brockman, right?
Yeah.
So like, aren't you basically describing the space as Duncan Hall? Like, where like VADA would have a spot, like this is the cam department's like, this is my spot in Duncan Hall. Like, isn't that basically the analogy that you're drawing?
Except that it's much more about it.
I'm sorry, I guess I don't, is that helping your question?
No.
Okay. So,
We're just very confused on who you think is going to use this space. Because if it's intended for art making, they have a department for that. And at least the theater faculty haven't been consulted at all on like how that will.
The funding for that department is very lackluster. So.
yeah. Well, so the theater group has been consulted periodically. So their input has been heard. This is a small space, and I think that's a really important thing to remember. So this building, right now, Visual and Dramatic Arts occupies 56,000 square feet of space across our campus, all in, right? When Facilities and Engineering did an inventory, that's the total number of square feet. This building is 30,000 assignable square feet, right? So it's I think it's really important to understand it's a very modest addition of space, right? And none of this new space is replacing any of the current space allocated to any department, including VADA. So I think that's the key piece. This is all going to add in ways that you will determine, right? So I think that's another very important piece, right? This is something that if you have interest in a project, this is a facility that will enable that.
So in the interest of time, we're not going to have any more questions, but for all those who have concerns that were expressed today, can you please funnel them through Robbie Sheck, who is the SA rep who is working closely.
And Matt, are you going to say anything?
Who is that?
Sorry, it's Robbie Sheck. Sorry.
It's RUS1 at Riverside.
And we can set up meetings with us so that we can kind of figure out how to move forward. Yeah, Dr. Taylor?
Yeah, I'll just say real quickly that at the request of the vice provost and provost, we really have formed the Rights and Arts Council. It's explicitly charged to get as much input and ideas from you guys as possible from the campus, both grad students and undergrads, for Moody, how to make the most of Moody, but also more broadly speaking, how to generate arts activity and arts making on campus. We really want to understand what students are interested in, what's happening already organically with students, and again, try to channel that into a more vibrant community. And again, making the most of Moody to make the most of things that are already going on with students and with the wider Houston community. So the committee exists with the help of the SA and the GSA. We've got student members. I have 8 undergraduates, 2 graduate students. We've got students from VADA, both from the drama side and the visual arts side. We have a MECI, we have a sociologist, we have an ARCHI. So it's a widely represented committee, committed, smart, outspoken people. And I think you can count on them to come to you for information and also try to get you as much information as we can. We're already busy trying to get things going in that regard. One date that I'd like you to keep in mind is March 17th. We're going to have a town hall like this to get more ideas from you all. Of course, we'll publicize that after spring break. I know everyone's sticking your heads now, but we'll get it out to the colleges through the senators and new student reps. But that'll be March 17th at 5 o'clock. Just one sign that this committee is active and involved in things more than Moody. Some of the things that we're already doing this semester, we're going to be meeting with Molly Hubbard from Rice Public Art. She's asked us to consult on 2 public art installations that are going to be near a couple of colleges and in another. Vice Provost and Dean Whiting have agreed to let us meet with Dean Whiting. She's the chair of the search for the director of Moody. So the committee will be trying to provide some student input and ideas to Dean Whiting for her search. We're meeting tomorrow to talk about giving the committee some access to the architect so that they can have a better understanding of the Moody building. So we really want to do a good job for you guys. I think it's important to understand that the vice provost and provost take your input seriously. It's my job to make sure that they take it seriously. I'm a student affairs guy. I work with you guys all the time, and I think the students and I will work with you all and with Dr. Levander to make the best of this really great opportunity. I mean, it's a really, really great opportunity for Rice. Thanks.
Great. I put Robbie's email up here. It's come to my attention that I forgot to approve the meeting minutes, so can we get a motion to approve? Working Group is now going to present.
So yeah, that was a very active discussion. I hope we get as much feedback on our group. So we are the Wellbeing Working Group, and a brief history, background of the group is we were formed in January 2013. An email was sent out asking for interest from students, and we got about 35 or 40 initial members. We started off in 5 committees. There were mental health policy, mental health resources, sexual assault policy, sexual assault resources, and outreach. And those committees independently work throughout the semester to look at issues in their area. Over the summer, we condensed the group into a core group of 10 students to help facilitate the actual writing process of the report that we're publishing today. It'll be on the essay website and maybe now.
Alright, so we came up with 7 key recommendations that we'd like to present to you today. Essentially, we will ask for 2 different positions to be created. One is the medical liaison position, and then there's also a sexual violence liaison staff position to be created. We asked the university to pursue the JET and Clinton Foundation campus programs seal for mental health. We asked that there be increased promotion of the rights to disability support services, and that we greater utilize current RJ roles. We create the training videos for codemasters and RAs, and also we are going to create a standing well-being committee.
So we were asked to come up with a student vision for well-being on campus. And one of the things I think we all agreed on was that we really wanted to see the culture of care extend to as broad and far-reaching a range as possible. So you see this culture of care in the caregiving programs of public parties and in academic support and mentorship resources at the colleges. And we'd just like to see that extend to every aspect so that open and direct communication is possible on campus. The student groups that work with well-being, I think we hope that they will continue to be important in shaping some of the positive initiatives that have gone on over the course of the past year. These include the presence of RAs at OE, free STD testing initiatives, or one free STD testing initiative, partnership with HAWK to create the sexual violence training program, Project SAFE, and other programs that have been happening on campus.
Great, so to look at the medical leave process, we had stories from the students that had gone through both the involuntary medical leave process and also the voluntary medical leave process. We looked at their experiences and pinpointed a couple of issues they had. So one of them was that there was a great disconnect between the student and the university when they were away from Rice. And the second thing was that there was often ambiguity or confusion about what the Rice policy was, and also the exact process list for medical leave. So we recommend that there is a creation of a medical leave liaison staff position to help students taking the time away from Rice. Basically, they're going to be a guide for the students through the entire medical leave process, both voluntary and involuntary, and serve as a really source of support and a point of contact, and connect the students and the administration and make sure there's healthy communication going on there, and to erase all sorts of ambiguity and make sure that everything is clear in the process. And also, what's really important is that they will also be there to help the students come back to Rice, not just leave Rice.
Similarly, we wanted to recommend creation of a sexual assault position. This is an initiative that a number of peer institutions have recently adopted, and it is a procedural advisor to survivors of sexual assault on campus, and it's an additional resource to what already exists. So there are resources for people experiencing sexual violence on campus, but this is another one. It's a very direct one. It's one which is in the title, Sexual Violence Liaison. What they are not is someone who recommends to someone experiencing a sexual assault what to do. They merely, like an ombudsman, lay out what options are available and guide the individual through the process.
So we also looked at a couple of external programs that could give Rice feedback on Rice's well-being structure, and we decided that the JED Campus program is the one that best fits Rice. So we recommend Rice pursue the JED and Clinton Foundation Campus Program SEAL for mental health. Basically, their mission is to promote emotional health and prevent suicide among college and university students. What happens is that they have a survey based on 70 questions compiled by mental health and well-being experts that is administered to universities, and universities that pass the survey are publicly recognized and get awarded a seal. And all universities that try this process get feedback from them, from their experts. And also, there are a lot of peer institutions that have already done this and gotten the seal. And some institutions are Yale, Columbia, Cornell, USC, and also Texas State. So this is a really good program that will help Rice really be assured that we have a great well-being structure.
So disability support services, we collectively, for students experiencing disabilities on campus, we wanted to make sure that they are aware of Rice Disability Support Services and the resources and assistance that they can offer. So currently, Rice Disability Support Services promotes themselves to faculty, and you've probably seen on all your syllabi a sentence about how you can go to them within the first 2 weeks of classes after contacting Rice DSS. We would like to see the promotion of disability support services directly to students as well, particularly through an O-Week presence. Now, in a jam-packed O-Week, this wouldn't necessarily have to be its own session during O-Week, but possibly through a video, or potentially even utilizing the RHAs to spread the word about who they are, what a disability is, and what accommodations they can provide.
Yeah, so with respect to education, we were looking at how the students and the adult leadership team at each college are educated on various well-being issues. And so one of the recommendations that we came up with was providing online training videos on OwlSpace for masters and RAs to access. This would allow them to have easier access to the trainings, because with their busy schedules, they may not be able to attend all the trainings that they would like to. And in addition to this, if it was on OwlSpace, we would be able to provide quizzes or assessments to make sure that they're getting all the information that they're supposed to. Another potential with this resource would be to open it up to students as well, so that we would be able to get the information too, and then even possibly using it for new students, so that maybe over the summer before O-Week, they would be able to see the information and better absorb it, as opposed to them getting to O-Week and then being inundated with all this information and then not being able to retain it all. Another recommendation that we had was to sort of emphasize more of the role of the RHAs at each college, because they receive a lot of training, including mental health training, and they're a great resource that not all students may be completely aware of. So after doing all of our research, we're proposing the creation of a Wellbeing Standing Committee to represent the interests of relevant student groups and organizations who focus on well-being at Rice. The purpose is to sort of continue this conversation that we've started, and also follow up on some of the recommendations that we've made. In addition to connecting these existing groups, we also want to foster communication between the students and the administration through a representative from the SA and also a representative from the Student Wellbeing Office. So here's a list of some of the organizations that we've talked to who have expressed interest. And so we're currently working on writing the legislation to create this standing committee, and it'll be introduced sometime after spring break. So like Ian said, all of the points that we discussed tonight will be in a report that will be published on the SA website in more detail. So now we'd like to open up the floor for any questions.
The proposition to create the medical fee liaison position, would that be an additional paid salaried staff position, or would that be a designation on the existing?
Sure. So one of the things that we don't specify in the report is where this position comes from, whether it would be an external appointment or it would be someone who internally who, would take on that role. So we didn't want to sort of declare you need to get this from outside or inside, but just leave that open and advocate for the creation of this position.
You had a recommendation for increasing RHA visibility and emphasizing things like that. I'm not trying to challenge it, just can you speak to where that came from? That culture is different for college, and so then maybe some suggestions for, or if any you have, how to do that. Like,
sure.
How did you come to that point?
Well, I think that the presence of the RHAs at OE this year was a big step forward. And as they're around in the coming years, I think that program has the ability to be expanded. I know that Patrick, who's here today, works closely with the RHAs and is very enthusiastic about helping to do so. And I think it also might be more ingrained, so the RHAs take on a more active presence. I think that other initiatives, like the one that I know you helped to start, where RHAs have mental health, they now have the ability to post these place cards on their doors that they're mental health trained. I think that's incredibly important because one of our concerns is that people see RHAs as people they can go to for medicine and for contraception, but they don't recognize all the training that the RHAs go through in mental health.
Any other questions?
Awesome.
Okay, and I just wanted to extend a big thank you to the administration who worked with us through this, and also to Roddy for helping facilitate the process.
What? Well, we really want to get it out before you do you want to do it now before this happens? You're good? Wait, what's going to happen first? All right, Clinton is going to present about the future alumni committee.
Okay, just in the essence of time, I'm going to keep this super, super quick. So, to give a little background, there used to be what was known as a senior committee here at through the SA, and they were the ones that kind of plan all the general senior events, for example, 100 days, and working with the seniors for events like that. It's been recognized that that wasn't, the organization of that wasn't very conducive to the type of programming and really creating the access to alumni that we would like to have for students, and really shaping what the Rice alumni are going to look like at the point at which they graduate. In a few weeks, we'll be introducing a bill that will create the future alumni committee. And this is going to be a committee composed of a variety of people from all different classes and colleges that's designed to work and create programming to increase the interaction between alumni and current students, as well as create programming that really helps students kind of become, take that first step towards becoming a future alumni. And any feedback that you guys have would be appreciated on what type of things you would like to see, what type of things you would like to see in this committee, and what you would like to see as far as future alumni relations. That's great. Yeah.
Cool. Any questions, just send it to Clinton, please. Sorry, we're running on time. I don't like
That is the final straw! As a representative of Jones College, we have had enough of this sham of a student association. The SA is not representing our interests as the most valuable institution at Rice.
There's too much red tape to achieve achieve our goals and fulfill our rights, such as knocking down Martell and reclaiming our parking lot, and backing off the plot of land known as Brown College as a quarantine area, as it should be.
We are too successful as a college to waste our time in this broken forum. We refuse to be associated with losing colleges or dormitories. As our right as the most superior college, Jones hereby secedes from the Student Association of Rice University.
Alright, so now we have to vote on the ballot for the general election. Missy and Clint are going to come back because we have a quorum. So, yeah, can somebody run after them and get them?
Wait, do we actually need them for?
Yeah, we have so many members.
You're Jones president.
Alright, so this is going to be the ballot for the general election. It's being done through Qualtrics this time, so that we can put in all the net IDs of all 2,840.
3,000.
I mean 3,000. I did this earlier today too. 3,843 students, and only those students are going to be getting an email saying that they can vote in this election. So hopefully no alumni are able to somehow vote in it. And we tested it, and so it should be good. This is what it looks like. It's all ballot items again with the addition of the SA IVP candidates. Can we scroll up to that?
Is that under Jen? Oh, I put it as, you need to refresh it. You need to refresh it. I put it in later.
We need to refresh it apparently.
They can go to the one that's not the one.
Oh, okay. Well, I can
Alright.
bring up the names.
Is this the test ballot?
This is the one.
Oh, there we go. Alright, so these are 3 candidates for internal vice president. And they are going to be campaigning started at noon today. But we need to vote on this, and let's do a roll call vote on the ballot. Specifically the IVP part. I don't think we're supposed to approve the whole ballot again. Only the IVP part. So roll call, please.
Okay, President Baker.
Yay.
Wilrice.
Yay.
Hanson.
Yay.
White.
Yay.
New Vice Senator. Jones.
Abstain.
Brown.
Yay.
Sid. Yay. Okay. It's not very hard. Martell.
Yay.
McMurtry. New McMurtry president. April.
Yay.
Yay.
Duncan.
Yay.
Baker. Senator.
Yay.
Senator. Wilrice. Jones Senator.
Yay.
Brown.
Yay.
Then actually everyone else is gone. Treasurer.
Yay.
Yay. Secretary. EVP.
Yes.
IVP.
Yay.
All right.
Okay.
Cool. So it passes with quorum, so this will be going out tonight to all students, and hopefully I'll be sending out a campus
Wait,
review.
that's not a quorum.
That's not?
Yeah, Jones needs to vote. Yeah, abstaining is
It doesn't
by
match with
definition not voting.
Alright. Can you vote? Yay, alright.
Yay!
Quorum.
Quorum. Passes.
Alright, cool. Can we get a motion to... Wait, next meeting is changeover. It's going to be a pub dress cube so we can take lots of photos.